13th District State Representative Tom Dent on the phone with us this morning, Republican running for re-election. And boy, if you've listened to KIT, you probably know who Tom Dent is. Good morning, Mr. Tom Dent.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
Very good.
Good, Tom. Thanks for some time this morning. We appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. It's my favorite radio station. How would I ever turn you down?
Well said, sir. Well said.
Don't let him hear you say that up in Moses Lake, okay? Because, you know. Do you listen to KBSN up there in Moses Lake? KBSN, KDRM?
On occasion, mostly I listen to the KWIQ, the country music
Country
channel.
music. All right. Well, I started at KBSN there, so that was
Don't worry,
a
Tom.
good time.
They haven't been the same since he left, so it's all right.
Well, thank you for coming in. Are you actually getting on the phone with us this morning, Tom? We appreciate it. Tom, I guess first of all, tell us a little bit about who you are, in case people don't know who you are and what you raise up there.
Well, my name is Tom Dent. I live in Moses Lake. I've lived in Columbia Basin, just about all of my life. My career was agriculture, aviation for the most part. I also participated in some corporate aviation as an flight instructor, and I have a ranch. And on the ranch, I raise beef cows and a buffalo.
Buffalo.
And actually, as of a week ago yesterday, all my domestic cows are gone. I'm one more time out of the cow business because I had too much on my plate, and I'm just going to focus on raising the buffalo.
Well, we dig that. We think that's very cool. So I'd vote just for the buffalo, but I can't vote. I'm not your district.
I know.
But
Right.
so you've done a lot of different things in your life and career, and brought all that kind of world business and experience to the legislature. Been involved in some progress and had some success already with some bills in some areas that you have expertise. So I would say that you are, just from what we know, off to a pretty darn good start. What do you want to do next, Tom?
Well, thank you. Well, I'll just kind of continue on the same path. I'm really focused on natural resources and wildfire and seeing what we can do about improving forest health and reducing some of our wildfire issues and make a healthier forest. I think that's really important that is on our plate at the moment. And agriculture, of course, is my passion, and so I work on issues. I've been working this interim been on a task force about pesticide application safety, and we're making some headway, I think, on how we can improve training and education around pesticide applications with many of our farm workers. So, this is really important stuff that we're working on. So, looking forward to that. And of course, we have the ever problematic issue of water, in our district and in the Yakima Valley everywhere. Water's a major issue for us, and we just have to continue to keep our water and our water sources, viable. It's so important because without the water, the irrigation water, most of us wouldn't be in this country because this truly is a desert. So, kind of my main ideas around what goes on in our district.
Tom, you've also been involved in some foster parent issues. I mean, the House of Representatives passing legislation that would provide parents with an official list of foster parent rights and responsibilities. Tell us why you've been so involved in that.
Well, yeah, I was a former foster parent, and I just have to tell you, I'm a kid guy. I just look at our kids and I see our future, the future of America. So, and some of our kids. Our foster kids, got less than an opportune start in life. And one of the things that when I was first elected, I was passionate about, I want to help improve our foster parent program, and I think we're making some headway on that. I just think it's so important and to give these kids a chance that just haven't had much of a chance. So,
oh, that's so true.
Yep. So, say again?
I just say that's just so true. Yeah, it's so many people, a lot of foster parents that listen to KIT and are right on with you, definitely.
Right. So it's been a challenge, but I was part of the forming of the new department where we took Joe's administration out of the SHS and took the Department of Early Learning and merged them together along with juvenile rehabilitation, and actually made a smaller agency to deal with our foster parent child care issues. And so we're working at changing the culture and changing our foster parent program, and I'm real passionate about. Our foster parents are the foster parent program, and we need to build partnerships with them and not be a punitive agency. So, and the same with our child care centers. Our child care centers are early learning. They're the ones that do it. Let's build a partnership with them and support them, not be a punitive agency to direct them. So I'm passionate about these things, and I see changes. We did legislation last year that dealt with the Foster Parent Bill of Rights, and hopefully this coming year I'll be able to expand on that a little bit, because these folks are doing us a service, and they don't get paid enough to make it worth. Really, it's not about money to them. It's about a passion for children, and I want to support that.
Well, I really appreciate what is a philosophical shift from being big brother to being a partner with you. I think that is a key adjustment, and just that alone will change policies, procedures, and make things better. And we might get back to the point where more and more people are willing to be involved in that kind of program, since I think the number one complaint talking to folks is that they need the partnership, and they get like you called it, sort of a punitive point of view, and that doesn't work. So good on you for all of that stuff, Tom. How about the campaign? What are you hearing? You have the pleasure of incumbency and just sort of the conservative nature of this part of the state. Anything interesting or surprising pop up in the campaign so far?
Not yet. I just it's been, I love the campaign because I love to be out and see people and talk to them and listen to what their views are and their issues, and it's been positive. I just feel really good about what I'm doing, and it's just a pleasure to talk to people, and I hear a lot of good things. I hear a lot of good ideas and feedback. So it's just been it's great. I'd like to say I love the campaign. That's the best part of the job. So.
KIT News Time is 8:51. We are talking with 13th District State Representative Tom Dent, running for re-election. Tom, how many years you been in Olympia?
Well, this is be my fourth year now, second term, so I'm running for my third term.
All right. Well, let's get your thoughts on some of the initiatives. Definitely, these initiatives could certainly be, fodder for you guys and gals, I guess, in the next legislative session if they're successful. Initiative 1631, I guess people are calling it the carbon tax, the pollution tax. Where do you sit on that, Tom?
Well, it's a tax, and I don't see how it's going to help our issues around clean air. The state of Washington has some of the highest standards for clean air in the nation, and so I don't know why we need to raise that. And the idea is that, well, a carbon tax will help our forest fire issues. Well, all the smoke we had last year or most of it came from British Columbia, and they have a carbon tax. It's much more stringent than what we have on the ballot there. So I don't think it's a tax. That's what I see, is just simply a tax to get more money. And I think we have a lot of money now. $43.6 billion was our last budget. That's a lot of money, and if that's not enough, maybe we have a spending problem. I don't think we have an income problem. So let's lift up our self-employed folks, our industry, and back to the partnership program. Let's lift them up and let them do things. They're not out there to intentionally hurt this environment or our air, and let's hold those up there so we can continue to have good paying jobs in this state, and maybe look at other ways to work on clean air, like rehabilitate our forests and forest health.
Do you find that you're on just totally opposite sides with your colleagues on the west side on this issue?
No.
Really?
Many of them are on side with this.
Good.
And I will tell you, I say that this was a good fire year. And why I say it was a good fire year is because we had a lot of east wind and we blew a lot of smoke over the west side. And so now when I sit down and I talk to them, they say, "Oh, we get it, Tom. We get it. We understand where you're coming from."
Yeah.
So we can start working together. So if you haven't experienced something, it's hard to understand,
Right on. Exactly. I think I have a feeling I know where you're coming from on I-1639, the gun restrictions and some requirements to store weapons, increased background checks. Where do you sit on Initiative 1639, Tom?
Well, I'm solid Second Amendment. Always have been. But my biggest issue with this initiative is we're not sitting down and collaborating, talking about, can we make improvements? Is there any way we could improve any of this kind of things? It's just one side says, this is what we want, and so then now they're at odds to the other side. And, that's not how I operate. If you have an issue, let's sit down at the table and discuss it first, instead of just saying, this is what we want. And, so it's troubling to me and problematic that, we don't do that. It's just, people who don't like firearms and weapons and hate the Second Amendment it's more control. And I guess I have kind of an issue with that. I think, it's America. We're supposed to sit down and find common ground. And
Yep.
It's not happening. So, I'm solid Second Amendment. I'll be a no. You can count on that.
Initiative 940, the police officer training, the de-escalation training, a number of different things that this will do. It looks like it's really backed primarily by the Democrats. And and many Democratic Party members. How do you feel about this?
Well, I'm concerned about some of what's in there. So, I'm still studying. I'm still in some conversation with some law enforcement folks. But right now, I'm very concerned with the initiative.
And Initiative 1634. I think Seattle called it their sugar tax. It's the no on grocery taxes. Where do you stand on that, Tom?
Well, we don't have much tax on groceries now. So, groceries is something that we all need. We all need to eat. So I think taking taxes off of groceries I'm okay with that, because some of our folks, we all have different levels of income, and some people can afford a tax, some can't. And I think we need to help the people that just not everybody has a great income. So it may not be to do their own problems. Some people it's just the way it is. It's the way it is. So I think that's supportive of all of our population. So
Tom, it's interesting.
Okay.
It's interesting.
I'm okay with
it's interesting because I know that oftentimes we want to set the same standard for everybody in the state. But let's face it,
right.
we're dealing with King County, Puget Sound, and an area that's not unlike very many places in most states, and so they almost they seem to want to play by their own set of rules, and they can afford to. So okay, you want to make put taxes on groceries because your people can swing it, go for it. But as far as making that a statewide proposition, maybe that doesn't fit in all areas of our state. So it's kind of interesting that we have an oasis, if you will, that can afford to be as liberal as they are, right?
Well, and what they do is just amazing. Just amazing, spend a little time over there. It's amazing what goes on and what they say they are, but what they really are is not the same thing. So,
yeah,
they're going to support and take care of, protect all these folks, but yet they just tax them to pieces.
Tom, I'm wondering about we got the November general election coming up, and I guess we're not going to be paying for stamps. Postage is paid by the state. I take it that's probably going to be an issue in the next legislative session. How do you feel about that? Would you support, even infusing more money into the county auditor's coffers to pay for future mailings, future postage?
The issue I have with all this, and being around, in the politics for as long as I have, being in party politics and such, when I look at turnout from maybe 15 or 20 years ago, when everybody went to the polls pretty much, and you may have an absentee. If you weren't going to be there, you could get an absentee ballot. They mailed to you. You was responsible to get it back to them. But so we keep making it easier for people to vote, right? Guess what? Turnout keeps going down.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that picture? And maybe it should. I personally think that when I would go to the polls, I enjoyed going to the polls. And we go to the polls, and we were always proud to go vote. You got your little sticker on your lapel that said, "I voted." And it was kind of a big deal, and it was a rite of passage for our young people. I remember the first time I voted. You had to be 21. And, the first time I voted, that was a big deal. And I really was proud of that. And I think that sometimes if we just send you a ballot, you could fill it out. You don't have to put a stamp on it. You don't have to do anything. And now you're not even doing that. So, I struggle with that. I think there should be a little buy-in from the folks to step up to the plate and exercise your right that so many folks have died for to give you, and at least vote your ballot. We're making it so darn easy they can't even do that.
Yeah, it seems like we need participation, not registration. That's what we need.
That's right. That's exactly it. That's it. Yeah.
About a minute to go, Tom. Remind the folks in the 13th, and that includes a corner of good old Yakima County, why they need to return you to office.
Well, I'm working hard for you. I have the experience, and I work across the aisle. I collaborate with all the folks in the legislature, and I'm passionate about so many issues, and I'm available anytime anybody needs to speak with me, talk to me on the telephone, want me to come and see you. I'm there for you. So, I'm working hard for you, and I'm honored to be in this position. It's truly an honor to serve the people of the 13th District and the people of the state of Washington, and it's an opportunity for me to make a difference for you.
Well said, Tom Dent. We appreciate your service, sir, your availability all the time, willing to talk, and we wish you the best of luck. Should you win, we'll have more conversations down the road. What do you say?
Thank you. You're absolutely right on. I'll be there for you.
All right.
Thank you, Tom Dent.
Thank you,
appreciate
Tom.
it. Representative Tom Dent.